Coach Gundy with us as we break down Oklahoma State's matchup against the Tulsa Golden Hurricane. Is it safe to say Tulsa defensively is the best defense you've seen?
Yes, they're playing really well. Obviously they played Michigan State to start the season, and Michigan State's defense slowed down Tulsa's offense in a big way and put Tulsa's defense on the field the entire game, and they played really well. Tulsa converted a fourth down and a couple of third and longs, but they didn't really methodically just move the ball down the field. Tulsa stopped them and played well up there. It's not an easy place to play. And then played really well the other night out at San Jose defensively and put their offense on the field. And then in the latter part of the third quarter through the fourth quarter, their offense started to roll a little bit and they ran the score up. So they're good at what they do. They're mature. They know where they're supposed to be on the field. They fit the correct way, in my opinion. So, yes, this is the best defense we played this year.
Specifically for Spencer Sanders, what things will he encounter this week that he has not encountered yet? What do you think?
I think we'll see more disguise coverage, more eight-man drop. We didn't get much of that in this last game and very little really at Oregon State. So I think he'll see a little more variety of the defensive structure than what he's seen in the first two games.
Is it easier for a young quarterback that's going through the process of learning, trying to figure out everything he sees, when he can take off and run and be as effective as he is? I mean, is that just a great bailout for a young quarterback? Because I guess if all else fails, if he doesn't know what he sees and he can run for 6 yards, he can do it. Is that true or no?
It's a great resource, let's put it that way, for any quarterback, particularly a young one, like you said, that if something goes wrong and you don't understand, just take off and run. Defensive coaches struggle with trying to contain quarterbacks because schemes aren't designed for stopping the extra guy who's the quarterback. And, the general public will say, just put a spy on him. Well, that means he's not spying on somebody else, or he's not in that certain drop in the zone coverage, or he's not covering somebody in man, or in a certain gap in the running game. There's not really a guy for the quarterback. So that is a good out for a young quarterback if he does get confused.
As far as Tulsa goes offensively, their production was much greater, much more successful against San Jose. They rushed for, I think, over 250 yards. What's their flavor offensively? What do they look like?
They're going to be very similar to what the Baylor of Coach Bryle's days. They're a lot of RPOs. They want to run the football, and then they want to pull it, play fake, and throw it down the field whenever they feel like they can run by your safeties. Sometimes they'll play with tempo, sometimes they won't. So that'll be the style of offense that we'll see Saturday afternoon.
Stay with us. The Showdown Breakdown with Brandon Weeden is coming up.
The end of the practice is when we do all of our intensity drills. She was going at it.
Stop. Right there we go.
If we win this, is the one way to get to the playoffs.
I know.
Living with joint pain. Take the first step at mercy.net/cowboysortho.
Welcome to another edition of the Showdown Breakdown with former Cowboy quarterback Brandon Weeden and Tylan Wallace off to a great start. Tied for the national lead with 5 touchdown receptions. And of course, last year, just a fantastic year for Oklahoma State. So for fun, let's compare him to some other great recent Oklahoma State receivers, keeping in mind that Oklahoma State just is calling itself wide receiver U, and with good reason. You've had 3 Biletnikoff Award winners at Oklahoma State since 2010, recognizing the nation's best receivers. So there's a reason for that. All right, so let's just start, and we'll go backwards. How would Tylan Wallace be the same or different than James Washington?
Yeah, I think there's more similarities than differences. They're not the biggest. They're not 6'2", 6'3",
long, rangy guys. But at the same time, I think they both have some of the best body control I've seen from a college receiver. They both, when the ball's in the air, everybody talks about a 50-50 ball. With guys like those two guys, it's an 80-20 ball. And then as a quarterback, you love that because you throw the ball up, and the chances something good's going to happen are pretty high. Either they're going to catch it or it's going to be a pass interference. So two really good players. I think there's a lot of similarities there, and I think Tylan Wallace is just kind of setting his name in lore with these other guys.
All right, so the guy you played with that won the Biletnikoff twice, Justin Blackmon.
Yeah, I'm biased. Of the bunch, I'll have to say he's probably the most consistent. Blackmon was a guy that ran every route in the route tree, knew coverage, knew ball, was a really smart player. Tylan's that guy. Blackmon was a guy that wanted to be moved around, he wanted to be on the left side and the right side of the formation and do some stuff. But he's very versatile, and so is Tylan. I go back to that 50-50 ball. All the guys were talking about him. You throw the ball up, you like that good things are going to happen.
And the first in this recent run of wide receivers, Dez Bryant.
Yeah, Dez, I would say of all these guys, is probably the most physical. He uses his hands extremely well. At the top of the routes, he really does a good job of using his hands and being physical. A great hand catcher of the football. I think one thing Tylan has that Dez I thought had when I got here in 07 was speed. You watch the first 2 weeks, Tylan Wallace can really run. I don't know if he's gotten faster, but it just kind of jumps off the tape. His speed, he's running away from guys. So like I said, good company to be in, all really good players, but there's a lot of similarities between all four of them.
Speaking of running away from guys, let's transition into this, what we've seen a lot of successfully, including for Tylan Wallace, the short passing game, the quick screens. What's happening there, and why is that being successful?
Yeah, most of those, that to me is a true RPO. Most of those are run plays with the chance of throwing the ball outside, and it's all about numbers. If you feel like you have numbers out there and good blocking, leverage and stuff like that, you want to spit the ball out, and it's kind of an extension of your run game. And that's been in this offense for a long time. We've hit a couple big ones in the last few weeks. They've gone for big plays, which has obviously been a nice thing for us. But again, it comes down to one, the quarterback throwing an accurate ball, two, the receivers on the perimeter blocking well, and then putting the ball in the receiver's hands and letting him make a play. So I just view it as an extension of the run game.
Cowboys facing Tulsa this week. Of course, it's a fun game for the fans in Oklahoma. Oklahoma State fans in Tulsa get a chance to watch the Cowboys play against the Golden Hurricane right there in the city of Tulsa, and it's a rivalry that's been a part of both teams' programs for a number of years, off and on. What are they doing defensively, and what could be problematic for the Cowboys?
Yeah, when you watch them on tape, it seems like they're not real deep, especially up front. It's a three-man front, and those guys play a lot. Those guys don't come off the field much, so they're asking a lot of those guys to stop the run and also get after the passer. The linebackers are bigger guys. They don't ask them to do much in coverage. They're kind of thumpers. They want to stop the run and kind of fill the gaps and blitz at times. But what kind of stands out is their physicality in the back end. Their corners are bigger corners. They like to press. They're a little more aggressive style of play on defense. But I expect to see a lot of three-man rushes, eight-man drops, which is good. You hope to run the football against looks like that. Makes it a little tougher to throw the football, but they play hard. They jump off the tape. They run the football. They tackle extremely well. It's going to be a big test for the Cowboys.
Offensively, they had some struggles in the opener against Michigan State. Some of those were related to some issues with bad snaps and things of that nature, but that was not the case against San Jose State. They rushed for better than 250 yards. They won that game going away for the most part. What have you seen on their offense that gets your attention? Yeah, I think they want to run the football first. First and foremost, I think it starts with the running game. I think they run the ball pretty well. You take away the Michigan State game, I think they had negative 73 yards of rushing. That's a tough front. That's a good defensive front they were playing. So you fast forward to the San Jose game, they had some pretty good success. So I expect them to start early and often running the football. So I think for the Cowboys, first and foremost, you got to stop the run and hope you can contain them through the air. The last time the Cowboys played in Tulsa was 2011. That game started at 12:15 in the morning because of a lightning delay and ended somewhere between 3:30 and 4. You were quarterbacking that team. What do you remember about that whole experience? The game was supposed to kick at 9 o'clock, and as I mentioned, it kicked at about 12:15. Yeah, I mean, it was way past my bedtime. I know that. It was. Yeah, it was that was a weird night. We had a lot going on personally within our own team. We had Coach Spencer's wife had passed away, and everything, the delays, and we're going out and we're not going out to the field and get going. It was a very unique night.
there was a point in time where I didn't think we were going to play the game. I thought they were going to postpone it or cancel it or whatever they do. But, when it all came down to it, we came out and we actually played pretty well. But that definitely wasn't our best game of the year. We were pretty sloppy at times, but found a way to get a win in a tough situation. But it was a very unique night, one that kind of stands out. I'll never forget it.
So what was the strangest part of it? I mean, you hear stories of players in the concession lines and then how they scramble to get food. What do you remember that was most strange about it?
Yeah, I think guys were just kind of getting bored, just kind of aimlessly walking around. I remember some of the wives brought peanut butter and jelly sandwiches in there, so we're eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm sure the O-line ate their fair share. It was a very unique night. I had heard stories that guys were going to the concession stand. It was, again, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. It was a very unique situation. In my opinion, probably shouldn't even play the game. But neither here nor there. We found a way to get the win. It was a lot of fun.
So we shouldn't repeat that this time because kickoff is at 2:30. So if that kind of storm comes, we're in big trouble. That's the Showdown Breakdown. He's Brandon Weeden. I'm Dave Hunziker. Thanks for watching.